Idioms, idioms, idioms. The more you learn them, the more you'll love them. So what are idioms? Basically, idioms are short form expressions or just expressions that really we use them all the time in casual English conversation, always. I remember when I first moved to Peru from Canada, and I would use so many idioms and phrasal verbs all the time. And I never realized that I did that because for me, that was just normal. That was just the way I talked, was using so many expressions all the time. And then it dawned on me that I was using so many expressions that it was really hard for my friends in Peru to understand me. All right, and so how do we use idioms? How do we practice idioms? Really just talking. And so you probably get so sick of this all the time of, yeah, just practice and you'll get better. Come on, just do it over and over again and then you'll just learn it. Unfortunately, that is the truth. You have to keep saying and practicing them for it to be embedded into your own vocabulary. So definitely do practice them over and over again. All right, so if you don't know already, my name is Dawn and I'm here to help you get from intermediate English all the way up to advanced so that you can get better opportunities, whether it's traveling, whether it's a better job, whether it's to get more money, whatever it is, I am here to help you with that. And so let's get into our first idiom. So let's talk about a short fuse. So when we say a short fuse, we are talking about somebody who has a short temper. What is a short temper? It means somebody who gets angry really quickly. So maybe they have no patience for something, they just go, no, I am angry. And so somebody who has a short fuse, for example, maybe I could say, yes, my great aunt had such a short fuse when I was little. We were not allowed to do anything, touch anything, because she would get angry so fast. She had a short fuse. And so I know all of us can relate to something like that. I'm sure somebody in your family or a friend who has a short fuse, and so you can use that to describe them. All right, let's go on to our next one. A taste of your own medicine. So when somebody has a taste of their own medicine, it means that that person maybe did something or say something, usually in a negative way. So maybe somebody says, oh my gosh, did you see how badly they did in their speech? They did a terrible job. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they even tried to go up there and do their speech. It was so bad. And then that person who is saying all of these awful comments goes up to do their speech and they did a terrible job. They totally bomb it. Bomb it means like they fail terribly. They did a really bad job. And so then we can say, ha, they got a taste of their own medicine. So it's some kind of karma. They did something bad and then something bad happened to them, and so it's the taste of their own medicine. All right, this next one is really fun to use. We use this all the time as kids and also to describe kids. And this would be crying wolf. Or more put commonly into a sentence is, don't be the boy who cried wolf. If you are one of those people who are always crying and begging and they would say oh, this thing happened to me, and they're making so many times for themselves to cry. So it's oh, they're complaining about something, they're crying wolf. And they do this enough times that when there is actually a serious situation, then nobody believes them. So they've had all of these times where they were complaining or crying about something that when something actually serious happens, then the person says, oh, they're just crying wolf. They do this all the time. We can't believe them because they cry about everything. And so that's how another way to describe somebody is somebody who cries wolf all the time, or you can say it in action like a verb, oh yeah, they're just crying wolf. They do this all the time. All right, this next one is really fun, and it is draw the line. All right, and so draw the line is when you are thinking of somebody who is kind of going too far. Maybe they are testing your patience a lot. Maybe they're doing things that maybe you just don't appreciate. You can't handle it anymore. Until one day they do something super inappropriate or super bad, and you say, okay, nope, this is where I draw the line. And so this often happens with parents. And so think of little kids who are always playing around or getting into their parents' things, and they love to do it. But until the mom says or dad says, okay, nope, I draw the line because this is just too much for me. I can't handle this anymore. Like, you went too far, like no more patience from me. So that is the idiom, draw the line. All right, now this next one is something that you'll have to really use your imagination to fully understand, which is finding a needle in a haystack. Refers to actually a haystack. So a haystack, if you don't know, is the food that like horses and cows and other farm animals eat. It's like literally a ball of hay, and hay is like, again, the food that they eat. And so if we say, yeah, trying to find this is like trying to find a needle in a haystack, then try to think of a little needle in the haystack. Like, it's impossible, right? So that's when we use that idiom. It's kind of like, oh, you want me to try to find that? It's like finding a needle in a haystack. Like, it's going to be impossible to find that. All right, this next one is get something off your chest. We've all been in those situations where you want to say something to somebody. Maybe it's a heavy topic, maybe it is something that's a little bit more complicated, and you have lots of nerves and it's feeling like a lot of pressure on you. You're like, ugh, like I know I need to say this, and you feel it. You can just feel it in your whole body. And when you finally have the chance to talk about it, maybe it's in front of just one person, maybe it's a group of people, but when you finally say it, it's kind of like that, I finally got that off of my chest. Got it? So we say something that has been bothering us for so long, and so finally you can release it, and so you say, oh, it's so nice to get that off my chest. So it's not a problem for you anymore. It's not a burden for you anymore. It's off your chest. All right, this next one has to do with holding secrets, which is the cat's out of the bag. So everybody has secrets. Maybe somebody you know is getting married, or somebody's like pregnant. And what you do is you say like, oh, well, everybody knows now, so cat's out of the bag. And so that's the expression. When a secret is public, so when everybody knows the same secret, then we say, ah, well, cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows, so you can know too. So that's the idea. When a secret is released, the cat, the secret, is out of the bag, which is out of the secret world. Okay, this next one is something that we used all the time in like elementary school, middle school. It's usually an idiom that children use more often than adults, but it is lose your marbles. But maybe we can say, oh my goodness, this person has lost his marbles. That means they are going crazy. And so we use this all the time, like as kids, like, oh my gosh, my mom's lost her marbles. I think you can come maybe next week because she's a little crazy right now. Or maybe your teacher has lost their marbles because nobody did their homework in class, right? So that's the idea. Lost your marbles. Don't lose your marbles, which means don't go crazy. Don't get angry and crazy. Just be cool. All right, this next one always makes me giggle because my best friend in Canada, Amber, she says this really funny, in a funny way, and it is pull yourself together. So it's more of an idiom that we use when things are falling apart, everything's going crazy. Maybe your room is so messy, everything is just out of place, and then your friend comes over, maybe it's Amber, and she says, hey, pull yourself together, which means like, come on, let's organize, let's think straight, let's do all of these things to get back to normal. So pull yourself together. Or you can say it in terms of like, think of going through a bad breakup, you are heartbroken, you are so sad, and you're going through all these emotions, and maybe your friend, maybe again it's Amber, and she says, pull yourself together, it wasn't worth it, like you are so much better single, or something like that. So definitely it's a very common idiom to use, especially among friends, which is pull yourself together. Okay, this next one has to do with wanting to achieve better. So maybe for a lot of my audience, I know many of you are seeking for better job opportunities, better things you want to learn and grow so that you can like maybe travel abroad or maybe be able to get a better position at your work. And so bettering yourself and doing these things such as learning English or making your skills better, all of these little details that you are twisting and turning to be better means stepping up your game. All right, so if someone says, okay, let's step up your game. Okay, so what kind of things can you step up or make better so that you can reach your goal up there? So maybe your goal is to be better in English, as an obvious example. So you can say like, okay, I want to step up my game in English. I want to practice every day. I want to talk every day. I want to watch all of Dawn's videos and do all of those things. So those little nuggets we would call stepping up your game so that you can be a better person. This next one is also a really fun visual, which is an iceberg. And I know that a lot of people, especially in warmer countries, they don't really know what an iceberg is. And an iceberg is usually in like either the North Pole or the South Pole or closer to there, where you see big chunks of ice in water and you can only see like the top of it. Usually you just see like the top and it's just like, it looks like this big chunk of ice, but it's in the water. And the idiom with this is tip of the iceberg. And the idea about this idiom is that, oh my goodness, we have so many problems. The only thing you see is just the tip of the iceberg. Meaning, maybe my friend comes up to me and she says, oh my goodness, like my husband is driving me crazy and we are having so many problems and blah, blah, blah. And maybe I say, well, it doesn't look that bad. Like, I know he did this, but it's probably like okay. But my friend can tell me, oh no, Dawn, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like that's just the only thing I can see. But what's actually happening is under the iceberg, under the water, the iceberg is so much bigger. So I can say like, oh my goodness, like we're having so many problems, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. On top of that, we're also having money problems. We're also having like job security problems. We're also like maybe losing our home, like those kinds of things. And it usually has to do with problems that you have, but you can only see the tip of it and you don't know what's actually going on under the water. And so if you made it this far into my video, I really appreciate it. If you're interested, please like and subscribe to this video. Share it with your other friends who are learning English right now. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.